Welcome to the Farm Kenya show, and it is a beautiful Tuesday. It's just the beginning of August, and right here at the Farm Kenya show, we make sure that you're properly informed on what is going on in the world of agriculture. And the goal is to equip you to be able to grow your own food, and if you can do and excel in that, even grow food for other people and enter into the agri-value chain. That's why Farm Kenya is here, and welcome to the show. My name is Nokip Kimboy, and today our conversation is quite interesting because since post-COVID, everyone has been taking care of themselves. So you want to eat properly, and we are reducing some of what is considered unhealthy meals, and our plates are becoming greener by the day. We're talking about vegetables. Now, are you able to grow your own vegetables? Maybe you've tried, you've succeeded, you failed. Well, today on the show, we'll be focusing on vegetable growing, and specifically matters to do with capsicum. Some of us have grown capsicum, have invested. You invest in a lot of capsicum, then you don't have market. We'll be addressing that also. Apart from that, there are also new ventures. Talk about broccoli farming in Kenya. That is an opportunity that we'll be discussing today. Other than that, basil, all right? Or some people call it basil, all right? That is also another avenue that is growing in the market. How do you make sure that you enter that value chain and prosper? That will be our focus today. And of course, in studio, I have Hilary Obura from Nick Smart Farm from Rironi, and they'll be giving us the insights in regards to vegetable farming to these specific products. Other than that, also, ladies and gentlemen, we have our resident chef, of course, Chef Ron Kamau, sous chef from Nairobi Street Kitchen, and today he's come prepared with the green apron. Remember that our show is eco-friendly. That's a nice joke, by the way.
Good one.
Ron, what are we making today?
Today we're gonna keep it simple. A Thai beef salad.
Thai beef salad.
Yes.
That's simple.
That's simple.
What are we looking at in that regard?
Components that mimic the Thai cuisine. So we have a Thai dressing. The components are mainly items that are usually used within that side of the world.
Okay.
We're gonna have some peanuts, and it being called a beef salad, we're gonna have some beef inside it.
Okay.
So the other alternative, if you wanna make it vegetarian or vegan, you can use tofu.
Okay.
Or maybe paneer cheese if you like, but to make it vegan, tofu is the way to go.
All right.
Yes.
Definitely. Judging from your apron, vegan we go. Man. But we love beef, as a weakness. It's a stronghold. So we'll be making Thai beef salad. And remember, right here, the Farm Kenya show is where we hook you up with the global cuisine, because we've expanded our mind and we are not only experimenting but bringing different cuisines from across the world to make sure that you're properly equipped to make it at your home. And that's where Chef Ron Kamau will be coming into this conversation. But for now, we'll begin with our top stories in news. All right, talking about the Farm Kenya show being very eco-friendly, we start with a story on matters forest. Now, Kenya Forest Service has launched participatory forest management plans, which will provide structures for the involvement of communities living adjacent to the forest in conservation and management of the forest. And this is critical, especially at this time, where conservation is top-notch and top goal for every country.
Officially launched.
Upandaji wa miche ambayo tumepanda kama 63 Kwa hivyo tumereduce forest destruction kwa wingi, na najivunia kuwa Mkirinyaga kwa sababu si ndio tumeongoza tukiwa namba 4 kama vile CFC amesema kwa upandaji wa miche.
Tuko na PELIS rules and guidelines. Lakini wakati mwingine unakuta we are not following these rules, we are breaking the rules. We are not observing the guidelines. Kama hatu observe basi Kenya Forest Service iko na haki ya kusimamisha. Kwa hivyo kila kitu iko na sheria zake, na hizo sheria zikifuatiliwa basi kila kitu itatendeka vile inastahili kutendeka, na tutatembea pamoja vizuri. Kuna
sehemu kama hekta 1400 ambayo naomba washikandao, naomba sisi wote Kenya Forest Service na sile program tuko naso tuweze kuhakikisha kwamba within the shortest time tumerehabilitate the 1400 hectares tukiwa pamoja na community.
All the farmers along the forest like KTDA and Nyayo T-Zone and also coffee farmers. So we are working to conserve that kind of the environment together with the community. And the work we are doing, we are not doing alone as an alliance. We are working with everyone.
All right, and still on matters health, especially maternal health, mothers in Siaya County have been urged to not let modern influences deter them from exclusively breastfeeding their children for the first 6 months. A member of the Siaya County Assembly, Susan Okwiri, emphasized the importance of following nutrition and health experts' recommendations. And this is critical because she made these remarks actually at the Yala Sub-County Referral Hospital during the celebration to mark World Breastfeeding Week, which takes place annually from August 1st to August 17th.
Breastfeeding is very important, and I joined the nutrition department together with the health facility administrators, so that I meet the lactating women and we talk more about breastfeeding with them. We encourage them to breastfeed exclusively from 0 months to 6 months.
We are grateful because the mothers are excited. They have gotten information that they did not have on how we can breastfeed exclusively. The main thing is exclusive breastfeeding. So far, our mothers are well informed today, and they have left excited because of even the gifts that they got from the Mheshimiwa.
We've met our mothers here at Yala Sub-County Hospital, and we are so grateful because we've really encouraged them. We've passed the message across of really ensuring that all our children are supposed to be breastfed exclusively for 6 months without giving any other thing, be it water, and if need be, then we will only prescribe medication at the facility level. And we're also really encouraging these mothers who are breastfeeding to ensure that they have good nutrition.
And now from Siaya, let's head to Malindi, where residents living near the Malindi dam site have urged the Kilifi County government to relocate the dam site if a proper waste management plan cannot be implemented to mitigate environmental threats. Speaking during a visit by full county executive committee members to the Mayungu area dam site, residents expressed their frustration with unfulfilled promises of improved waste management. The residents have criticized county officials for repeatedly visiting the site without resolving the persistent issues.
Sisi kama wanaishi hapa ndo nyumbani, ilikuwa tunaomba hiki tuiondoke, namba moja, kwa sababu serikali ama viongozi wakiwa kwanza ni wa mazingira, wale ambao umeona kuna bwana msema ni wa hewa, sio kama unaweza kuishi hapa siku ngapi ndo survive, lakini sisi tuna survive kwa uwezo wake Mungu.
Hasa kwa upande wetu, kwa upande wa kitengo cha afya, tunataka kuangalia ni hii hali inayoendelea hapa inaweza kudhuru vipi afya ya binadamu, ili tuweke mikakati ambayo inaweza kuhakikisha kwamba afya ya binadamu haidhuriki.
Tunataka kutafuta suluhisho ambalo nyinyi mtakuwa na hadhi, na pia wale wenzetu ambao wanakaa karibu na hapa mahali pia wawe na hadhi.
La muhimu zaidi ni kwamba tuweze kushirikiana kama washikadau, kwa sababu suluhisho ya tatizo ambalo liko hapa haiwezi kupatikana kwa upande wetu peke yake. Lazima sisi sote tushirikiane. Kwa hivyo katika ule mkutano ambao mmeelezwa tunaenda kufanya, ambapo nyinyi pia mtawakilishwa, tutazungumza kwa kina ili tuweze kupata suluhu ya kuhakikisha kwamba taka hapa zinahifadhiwa katika ile hali ambayo inastahili.
And now back to the trees. Conservation stakeholders, together with human rights groups led by Haki Africa, have initiated the establishment of Urban Green Corridor project targeting to grow over 3,000 trees towards curbing climate change and restoring the degraded areas. Their garden will also be used as a recreation area for Voi residents.
A serene morning highlights the Moite community as World Vision Kenya officials arrive. Traditional Turkana songs and dances fill the air. The aim is clear: to provide sustainable solutions for families affected by climate change through the distribution of gala goats. More than 5,000 people in this community living in Loyangalani ward need humanitarian aid and alternative sources of income. This follows the severe impacts which have led to an increase in illegal human trafficking, especially recruiting boys as cheap labor.
The JT project endeavors to reduce the push and pull factors of trafficking in person by providing sustainable livelihood options, and this is through restocking and introduction of the improved animal breed.
Sehemu ya Moite sublocation ni sehemu ambayo ni moja ya sehemu ambayo watu wanaathirika sana na unyanyapaa ya watu kuweza kuporwa, ibiwa, that is in-person trafficking pamoja na area ya Harapal.
According to the GAIN report of 2018-2020, Kenya ranked 31st among the most affected countries and 37th among the least prepared to cope with the impacts of climate change. Additionally, a 2022 United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs report documented that Kenya is facing its fourth consecutive year of severe drought, with 4.2 million people facing hunger and over 90% of water sources dried up.
Kwa wale walipata hiyo gala goat ni wale ambayo waliathirika sana kwa ile mambo ya juzi ya Jilali, na pia wale walipata juzi shida wakati ya maji.
Gala goats can withstand harsh and arid environments. Their strong legs enable them to travel over rocky and bushy areas, while their large bodies can endure drought and produce 2 liters of milk daily, making them valuable assets in tough conditions. These goats thrive in dry habitats and succeed in hot climates. Adult female goats weigh between 45 and 55 kg, while males weigh between 60 and 70 kg. Increased milk and meat production combined with the goats' market value will significantly boost the economic status of this community.
Because gala goats have better production in terms of milk, meat, and also growth rate, and yet they are all adaptable to the environment of Moite around this area. This is a very crucial, very important activity.
Residents here agree that by providing gala goats to vulnerable families will improve the economy. To ensure the goats adapt to Moite's climate, they are dewormed 3 times.
Vaccinated these goats against PPR, pest petite de ruminant. This PPR is a viral disease, and it normally is a viral disease which affects goats, shots, sheep and goats, but mostly goats, especially the young ones.
We also manage to do the thorough inspection and also the vaccination of gala goat against the three main economical diseases which are associated in pastoral land.
The Gala goat's ability to store water, maintain minimal body fat, and thick fur are crucial traits for surviving in such harsh conditions.
Maziwa yao ni mingi na nyama yao ni kona kilo na nyunga ama shida ndio napatia watu kupeana watoto waende achungie mtu mali yake. Kwa sasa kama mtoto yako kama ile ilipasa kitu akichunga si mali mbuzi ndio hii yaanzie kutoka leo hii hata imeanza.
To mitigate the economic hardship, the Office to Monitor and Combat Trafficking in Persons program aims to reduce the risk of human trafficking. Furthermore, it focuses on raising community awareness about the connection between climate change, environmental degradation, and human trafficking, while empowering community members to prevent such trafficking. Innocent Ogaro, KTN News.
All right, a big discussion that we're about to have on matters vegetable farming, specifically touching on capsicum. I know there are the colored capsicum, the red ones and the yellow ones, very, very sweet. We also have broccoli. This is something that we're encouraging people to eat these days to add to their diet, which is an amazing additive. But right now, to help us put all this into perspective, I'm joined by a young man. You know, you're very young, and it's a beautiful thing to see. You know, we're told that the average age of a farmer is 63 years in this country, but we're changing that narrative. Yes, having young people coming into this value chain is Hilary Obura from Nick Smart Farm, and this farm is located at Twironi. And thank you very much for making time to speak to us.
Thank you so much.
Wow. So starting it off, Hilary, at Nick Smart Farm, you guys, you tell me the farm has been around for 2, 3, 4 years thereabout?
About 3 years right now.
3 years right now. Okay. What did you guys start with? What product were you guys growing?
The product before coming there, the background history about the farm, we were doing cabbage production.
Okay.
Yeah, the cabbage, the normal cabbage, the white one. So after they had some 2 greenhouses which they were doing capsicum farming, the colored ones. So with my knowledge coming, I came as to impact.
Okay.
Yeah, because the guy who was there, the old guy who was there, he was just the custodian. So no experience, but from the moment I came, we had to develop certain experience, follow certain practices, the cultural way.
Okay. So you studied agriculture in Cape?
Yeah, I did BSc horticulture at GCOT.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. So you came in as a specialist, you want to impart change.
Yeah, a specialist and an agronomist too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, that is convergence at play, you know.
Yeah.
Every aspect
as an agriculture, you have to go to diversify.
Okay.
There are different areas you have to diversify. So like the agronomist part, advisory to farmers, advisory to any client who want to venture into certain farming. First you do a research, then you advise them so well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's start with capsicum, because capsicum is quite popular.
Yeah, right now it's quite popular.
It is loved. I don't know, this trend, is it a recent trend where it is peaking so much, or it's something that has been there within the local market?
I guess after Corona, it's when the production picked up.
Okay.
You know, during Corona, they started venturing into farming. The lockdown, you know, people couldn't travel from one place to another.
Yes.
So at your own convergence at home, you start by small kitchen gardens, you know, you're embracing a small bits of agriculture. So from kitchen garden, you have some 1 acre of farm, you start your production bit by bit. So for the capsicum farming, you see, one has to determine a good market first.
Okay.
You see, before venturing. You know,
that is if you're doing for commercially.
Yeah.
Okay.
Commercially, you have to have the market first.
Okay.
Because you cannot do any farming without any outlet. You don't know where you take your produce, when they are ready, who will sell to. So, you know, sometimes most of the farmers, tend to do something because they feel they can do farming, but they don't see the directives. Let's say the outlet of this product.
Okay.
Where will they sell?
So market is very important.
Market is very important. And I guess from 2021, when the lockdown was reinstated, now you find people started doing different types of crops. So for us, the farm that I'm working with, we ventured into capsicum farming.
Okay.
So the market was so good, you know, because even you cannot just plant just any day. You have to have a proper timing.
Okay.
So as to reach the demand on the market.
All right.
You see.
And that brings, because now we want to approach this in a twofold way. First of all, how to properly do capsicum farming. You say during COVID, we're working from home, some of the people spending so much time, and you start asking yourself, this space, I can do something with this space. Well, let me plant capsicums here. Is there a right way of doing capsicum farming, and is there a wrong way?
For me, I'll go with both sides. There is a right way, and there is also a wrong way. The right way is when you see the demand, you picture, you foresee if at what period or at what seasons are capsicum farming. Then do a lot of research concerning capsicum farming. Let's say Noah is doing capsicum farming. Yes, maybe green ones. Then what can I do as Hillary?
Okay.
Let me venture into the colored ones.
Okay.
You see, first when you try, you are not having a competition, but you are trying to look for something that is more value added.
Okay.
Let's say like the colored capsicum, it's more value added. If you look at the prices for maybe colored capsicum, a kg can goes for roughly 150 to 300, depending on the demand. You see?
Yes.
So the venture for capsicum, especially for someone who can start or for someone who is willing to do capsicum, first they have to do certain things.
Okay. So market research you've mentioned, which is very important, but common mistake, because at your farm, you interact with farmers.
Yeah, true.
People see you do farming, capsicum farming, and they approach you and they're like, I'm interested in this. What is the common mistake, especially from the practical bit, where you are supposed to prepare your farm, get a seedling, all this nitty-gritty processes? What is the common mistake that a lot of farmers make, and how can they avoid it?
A lot of mistakes that farmers make, especially it's when they choose the type of the seed. You know, colored capsicum have different varieties. We have like red, the Indras, we have the Elanga, the yellow ones, Commandant, Admiral, you see, Red Knight. There are so many different varieties of capsicum. So for someone to do, you have to have that a resistant one, which is so resistant to the certain of the pest or any incident that can occur. Let's say your soil, because first, before even you have to do a soil test of your soil. From plowing, land preparation, from a start. You know, as you prepare your land, you are looking at where you can source your seed. So especially us, we always propagate our own seeds.
Okay.
Yeah, so the good variety that majorly it's on the market, the good size, we used to do Passerella, the red ones, and Elanga, the yellow ones. So something that farmers mistakenly do is when they identify the seed. They just go for any seed. Not all seeds will germinate.
Okay.
Not all seeds will have the same production. And also the certain mistake they always do, it's you find in terms of management, that's where you can have your good capsicum during management. So from propagation, you have to ensure that you propagate your seed first.
All right.
Then after roughly 4 to 6 weeks, it's when the seeds are ready, the seedlings now. You have to propagate them at the size of 10 to 15 centimeters height. And then during that transplanting, that different, let's say for us, we used goat manure, which is more decomposing quicker compared to cattle and others.
Okay.
Yeah. So with goat manure, we put a handful of then 1 teaspoon of DAP. The reason why we using DAP as a fertilizer is to have the uniformity of all the crops.
Okay.
Yeah. So from there, the watering, you see, these are young seedlings. So you have to do a regular watering. Let's say if you are watering them at this time, you have to look it for, let's say for if it's in weekly.
Okay.
You have to do 2 to 3 times per week.
Okay.
Because as the crop grows, you gradually change the watering.
Okay.
So from watering, there are other agricultural practices. Let's say after the first month of production of growing, you have to apply CN. The reason why is to add those nitrogens to the soil and to make more foliage for the leaves.
Okay.
Then afterwards, the first month is when you can see some of the first fruits. For me, it's advisable to remove those first fruits.
Okay.
The reason why you remove those first fruits at the V center, it's because those first fruits, they tend to grab or take a lot of soil, the nutrients, the waters, that cannot be distributed to other parts of the crop.
Okay,
yeah.
Definitely. So, quite interesting. You said crop management is very critical. I want us to take a short break, but when we come back, I don't know whether we can copy and paste crop management elements and practices to be able to, widely apply when it comes to vegetable farming, not only in capsicum, but other products like broccoli. This is our conversation right here. We have Hilary Obura, who's from Nick Smart Farm, from Rironi, and he's a young man, and he says that you have to educate yourself. Before you get into any kind of farming, educate yourself and look at the market, the demand, before you invest somewhere. At this particular moment, the Farm Kenya Show takes a short break. When we come back, we still dig deeper into this conversation of vegetable farming in Kenya. Stay tuned.
Olympic Moments brought to you by Safaricom, the proud sponsor of Team Kenya at the Olympics.
As Brazil and Kenya took to the Olympic court for the first time in Paris 2024, put it away. Jose Maria finished with 13 points, the opposite coming from the back court. Just had that ability, that power, and also two magnificent.
This week on What's Your Story, we continue with the story of Dr. Catherine Masitsa, also known as Dr. C.
Being Dr. C, what's that like? What's that even? It's about being real.
Yes.
Living life on your terms. Biting it with the biggest spoon and just being. Ask yourself, when you're living, even in the morning, if I was fearless today, what would I do? Be fearless and go and do that which you want to do.
I love that.
T-shirt me and white, 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 T-shirt.
Akisijui nilikosea nini luku juu vile muipiga, vile muipiga, aki vile muipiga.
Mind your business, missing a number now way.
Kumaka lazima niongeze bidii, lazima niongeze bidii. Kumaka more blessing on me, more blessing on me. Kumaka
No one does it better for children than KTN Home.
Red means stop, yellow means wait, and green means go. I speak English.
Information, education, adventure, and excitement.
ABC 1, 2, 3 and do re mi. Come along and you will see. The more they travel, the more you know. Get ready, let's go.
KTN. Welcome home, kids.
75 days since the last day of last season. We are ready to do it all again. Phil Foden is having the season of his life. Brilliant! Just brilliant! That is quite something!
Dial *423# gets DSTV Compact for 3,700 Kenya shillings and connect to all the football you want on DSTV.
All right, welcome back to the Farm Kenya show, and we are discussing matters to do with vegetable farming and how you can get to grow your own food. You know, when push comes to shove, if you can't feed yourself, then that's where the problem begins. And I believe the current world and where we live right now, as much as with the technological advancement and systems working, we've outsourced a lot of things in our lives, including food production. If you're able to afford, why not? How about you learn some of these skills? And that's why we're having this conversation, of course, with Hilary Obura from Nick's Smart Farm. So, Hilary, we were talking about capsicum.
Yes.
Maybe just to wrap up that conversation of capsicum before we move to cauliflower and broccoli. You talked about the market, and it seems to be one of the biggest challenges that we have in the local market.
Yeah.
Oversupply. And when it's not there, it's not there.
True.
Why this imbalance? Is it because we plant in seasons? What exactly is happening?
You see, the problem that's majorly comes up, it's improper timing. You see, let's say like if you can go back a few months ago, let's say from May, June, July, we had a lot of rains that season. Majority of farmers had planted their colored capsicums. You know, with a lot of rain, the moisture, it's overflooded. When the soil is overflooded for capsicum, majorly you can find there's those certain attack. You see, mostly capsicum require a lot of warmth. So majorly you find it's cold, and let's say with an example of Limuru, you know, the area is kind of so cold. Very cold most of the time. So there is a lot of flower abortion. You see, when flowers are bought, you have less fruits. So something also that makes it more in enough or less enough in the market, you find the management practices. Let's say when you are attacked by pests and diseases, what will you do? You see, there are those pests you can't control. There are those pests you can do spot spray. There are those you can do the whole house spray. You see, you have to do something we call scouting. Scouting is more important in any crop. The reason why you are scouting, you have to determine what's lacking. Which kind of nutrient does this crop lack? What kind of pests are attacking my crop? You see, there are different pests, there are different...
so essentially you get a specialist to do the scouting for you?
No, because even as a farmer, even if you have a specialist, always work with them on the farm. There are times you will be alone on the farms. What will you do? If you see certain thing, instead of calling, you can just do a spot spray. And also something that causes it majorly you find most of the farmers are not well educated about the chemicals. You know, majorly before you apply any chemical, try to use the cultural ways, the physical ways of removing all these things. Let's say if you have seen certain leaves with some powdery, you know, the best way you can do, you cannot pluck all of them, but you can pluck the one with major. Then you can now do the spot spray. That's after you have done all the cultural way before concerning about the chemicals.
Okay.
Yeah.
So crop management seems again to really dominate.
The core of any production, it's the crop management.
Okay.
From just the moment you have transplanted it to the day you will be harvesting it. Because for majorly for capsicum, they goes for roughly from the 7th day, 70th. That's roughly 3 months to, from the 3rd month, it's when you start your production. Then you can continue with good management, you can continue to 4 to 6 months of continuous harvest.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know you've talked about colored capsicums.
Yeah.
Majority in the market we see is the normal conventional green capsicum. For that, what is the market dynamic compared to the colored ones?
You see, for the colored capsicum, the market it's a bit expensive kidogo. Iko juu sana. You see, for the green one, it's almost half the colored. So that's why you find, you know, you are doing a value added crop. And you want to have some returns at the end of the day.
Okay.
You see, and the reason why you find most of the farmers, they tend to grow in greenhouse, majorly. You see, different crops have different reaction. Because let's say for the green capsicum, you find a lot. There is these natural calamities sometimes, you know, with heavy rains, you know, with a structure, you have control. There's certain control temperature, certain control pest, certain control, let's say like floods. You see, when your farm is so flat, let's say you are doing green capsicum. You see, going back, let's use the natural calamities that was there, the floods. Most of the seeds, I'm one of the farmers who, the floods swept away my crops, the open field, a lot of them, roughly 2,000 cauliflowers, 3,000 broccolis all went missing due to floods, something that we cannot control.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's all majority, you know, the local market, and most people prefer the green ones compared to the colored ones.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why you find any person will be doing any capsicum. At the end, they'll be harvesting even green, so that they have to have that ratio of 1:1 to 1.
Okay.
To the market.
So essentially, colored capsicums fetch more price in the market, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Green is almost half the price,
Half the price of the
but
color.
it's more demanded.
Yeah, more
Yeah,
demanded.
so it's easy to sell.
Yeah, it's easy to
essentially.
sell. Yeah.
In terms of the cost of crop management, let's talk about inputs. When you place the colored capsicums here and the green capsicum, is it the same?
No, it's not the same. You see, let's say if you are sourcing your seeds from a different farmer, let's say from other propagators. You see, for the colored capsicum, you'll find one seedling cost roughly 20 to 25 shillings. For the green one, it costs roughly 4 to 5 shillings. So you see now, in terms of, let's say you want to do your production, you see, it's much easier starting with green as you learn, because the green, it's kind of a base for production.
Okay.
Every step that you are doing, it's the same management practices you apply. You can find also the colored capsicum, majorly when it's a controlled, let's say for the greenhouse majorly, they are controlled. Outside the green capsicum, they're not controlled. You find a lot of pests attacking them. You find the cutworms, the rest, many of the pests attack the open field compared to the greenhouse.
Okay.
So that's why they have to tend some. Both there is an advantage and disadvantage on both sides.
Yeah. Very important. And lastly,
Mm-hmm.
I love capsicums, by the way. I see some people roast them, which is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully you do that one day with Chef Ron here, roasted capsicums. Chef Ron, I hope you're getting my requests, yeah? Thai beef salad with roasted capsicums. That must be fun. But Hillary,
yes.
In regards to optimum productivity, because sometimes you go into farming and you don't know how much to expect from maybe a particular plant. If you've done proper crop management, talk to me about the return on investment in terms of the number of plants that you get, the fruits, the capsicums themselves, if you do it properly, how much return are you getting?
Yeah, if you good management for capsicum results to good production and good return. Let's say you spend roughly an estimate of 20, let's say in buying all the seeds, let's use to determine that productivity majorly for the capsicum. Let's use 8x30 greenhouse. You see, it can take roughly 1,000 seedlings. And one plant or one crop fully harvested, you can have roughly like 10 kilograms. You see, fully harvested with good management, and that's a continuous. You know, these are crops growing day by day. You feed them with the nutrients, they grow day by day. The more the flowers, the more the fruit. So this day we harvested one of the crop. We got 5 kg our first harvest. So, and we had 1,000. So you can find the range majorly for one greenhouse, you can get roughly 350 to almost half a ton. Let's say you have more than 3 or 4 greenhouses. Now you can do the comparison. Then you can find mostly the reason why it have some return, it's when you observe all the input you have put on the farm. Then let's say there is a demand for capsicum. You know, at the end of the day, a farmer has to accept there is sometimes a profit and a loss, but the aim, it's the profit.
Okay.
Yeah, that's with good timing. The market, you find, let's say you are selling capsicum at 300 shillings per kg. You see, you will have a lot of return investment.
Okay.
Yeah, compared to when the supply or the demand is less.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the most common problems in the farming sector is this issue we call post-harvest losses.
Yeah.
For capsicum, how dire is this challenge? And have you seen people trying to sort of create solutions to counter post-harvest losses?
See, first, post-harvest losses majorly in capsicum, you find you have harvested your crop, then the person who is supposed to come, you see, for us, we were dealing with first come, first serve. You see, we had 5 greenhouses. First come, first serve, so different people had different orders. So if this guy is coming for his order, you have to, because our cold rooms were not that efficient. We don't have the cold rooms that we can store roughly for 5 to, let's say, 3 to 4 days. You know, for capsicum, the shelf line is a bit longer, roughly 3-4 before going to the market. You know, it has to go to the market when fresh. You see, there's some of the results of post-harvest losses. When you see your crop, you see the mesocarp of its capsicum, it's majorly entailed with water. So when you put it long, it starts to shrink. That's why you find some of the capsicum in the market, they're placed differently. They were harvested the same day, but the temperatures now, you see. Let's say for capsicum, you have to have different temperatures, like let's say in your cold rooms. Let's say a good temperature that can preserve it for long.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you don't have those, I'll urge someone to just have the first come, first serve, so that you cannot go in a loss.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely. Now from Capsicum, of course, you guys, you've spoken about the challenge that you experienced during the floods with cauliflower and broccoli.
Yeah, sure.
Combining these two vegetables, how's the demand? Especially broccoli is one of those products that, you know, if you're seeing eating broccoli, it's like, okay, it's not as popular. It seems to be, it's a foreign vegetable.
Yeah,
right?
it's a foreign vegetable.
Exotic, as we call them.
Yeah.
How's the demand right now? Why did you go into broccoli farming?
Okay, you see, we always have that, the reason why we ventured into broccoli and cauliflower farming as a combination, you see, these two things go together.
Okay.
Yeah. You find when someone is eating broccoli, you can find some pieces of the florets. We call them florets when you remove them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you find the area, like the geographical area within the Nairobi now, majority of people are consuming broccolis because it's more nutritive compared to, you know, nowadays people don't want to do white meat mostly. They tend to call it as a meat. Broccoli is a, they call it meat where geographically where we are. Hiyo ni kama nyama.
Okay.
So it's so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the reason why we ventured it majorly to attract the market within our geographical area.
Okay.
That's within Liburu, because you find most of the broccolis around Nairobi, the ones that exported majorly, they come from Liburu, Kimende, that area.
Yeah. Definitely.
Because even the weather itself favors its productivity.
Definitely.
You see, majorly the vegetables, it's the crops that we doesn't need to spray a lot. You see, we just have to have a good management, different production. Let's say a good broccoli, like that one we are seeing on the screen. You find it doesn't. Broccolis, cauliflower goes for at most 2 months. You see, and it's a first crop. That's why we ventured into it as a first crop. You see, because even sometimes you find the demand it's high, then the prices are good, and that's something that I'll advise someone to try venture into.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You know, you've said that broccoli is like meat.
Yeah, sure.
And since today we're making Thai beef salad, I don't know, Chevron will tell me later on whether we can have Thai broccoli salad.
Yeah,
you know?
we can incorporate.
That's true. But when it comes, since you've spoken about geographical area, which is very important, I think that is a factor.
Yeah,
if you say I'm going into broccoli farming, ask yourself, where am I? How do you do it right? Because you've said its management is not as
it's not
as tiresome.
You see, from production or from propagation, you get your seeds, let's say certified seeds, the good word, certified. You know, and also different locations or different areas will accept certain varieties. You see, like let's say the likes of that area, mostly you find people plant the safari varieties, that is Heritage F1 and Bell F1 for cauliflower. So the broccoli, when you sow your seeds, you propagate them in the nursery, they'll take roughly 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. The same way, because majorly the soils in the area, the red soil. So something that they really need most is manure.
Okay.
Once you do them with manure, your DAP, you're good to go. The reason why you have the DAP and manure, it's at most you have the uniformity of your crop.
Okay.
The fertilizer, it's a fast release. The manure, they are slow release somehow. So that's why from propagation, you sow your seeds, already you have prepared your land very well. You do some transplanting, then 3 to 4 months, 3 to 4 weeks after transplanting, you can apply what we call some boosters, or let's say the nitrabo, the fertilizer, that's CN. Afterward, you can use when they start to remove the heads, majorly for the broccolis. You see, it's when you can apply the other nutrients, let's say the multi-NPK to fasten that's the initiation of that head. Yeah, so it doesn't require a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
And even with these specific products, there is actually a growing subsection or subgenre of clientele.
Yeah.
These organic clientele.
Yeah.
And they're very particular on how the product is produced, what is in terms of crop management, what are you adding? And you kept mentioning that you add, DAP for uniformity of the crop. I understand that from a commercial perspective.
Yeah.
For this organic demand, how do you handle that?
You see, for organic demand, there are different nutrients.
Okay.
There are also some organic fertilizers.
Okay.
Some are biodeposits. There is some we call NitroPlant, organic plus fertilizer, purely organic. You can also incorporate it. Not majorly, you can use the manure during transplanting, yes, but once they have started emerging, you apply as a foliar.
Okay.
They'll come automatically as organic.
Okay.
Without any chemical. Most of the vegetables you find people doing them organically. The only challenge that you might find, of which it's very rare, that's probably during the hot or warm seasons, it's when you can find attacks of some pests, majorly the aphids. You see, the aphids majorly attack the broccoli. They tend to hide beneath that head.
Okay.
So it's very hard. You find a solution to that. Most people use vinegar to remove that.
All right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Hillary, our time is running out. Actually, we have less than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Briefly, now you guys are venturing into something totally new.
Something new. That's basil.
Basil.
Yeah.
Why basil?
You see, we did a research with the owner of the farm. Like we found, since we have done a lot of capsicum, you see, the soil goes on and depleting. So let's try something that will revert back the soil. We figure it out. You see, at the end of the day, you have to look for something that's more valued crop. Let me use the word valued crop. So we thought, we were to do the likes of oregano, but we ventured into basil. The reason was we had this market already. You see, our purpose was like, as we are venturing into something, let's see how our market is. Let's see if those guys will be, because with their incorporation with us, we are now venturing into basil, of which it's a good venture. For me, I'm happy doing it right now. Like,
okay,
it's the sweet aroma. It's just when you just enter
maturity time for basil.
Basil takes, after transplanting, you see, when you direct sow your seeds, they take roughly 18 days, 18 to 21. That's 3 weeks. So from 3 weeks, roughly a month, you'll be starting harvesting your crop.
Okay.
The same product, let's say majorly the NutriPlant, organic, let's say there are a lot of organic components you can use instead of fertilizers.
Okay.
There are those boosters you can use.
Okay.
Yeah, the fertilizers, the ones that you boost your crop.
Okay.
So after 1 month of transplanting, you're ready to harvest your crop.
Okay, and you say demand is high?
The demand for basil is high, and majority of people venturing into basil farming, you'll find mostly the areas of Kitengela there. Kitengela, Kajiado, people have leased a lot of farms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So that's why you're finding most of the people venturing into herbs. Then you find these herbs, 10%, it's only consumed in the country. Then 90% is exported to the European countries.
Okay.
Let's say the likes of Netherlands, France, Denmark, England. You see?
Yes.
Most of the basil it's exported.
All right,
Yeah.
definitely. So there is a huge potential right there.
Then,
and definitely, I think it's a conversation that we can have deeper into it. I think today we focus more on Capsicum. But I appreciate. Thank you very much for making time to speak to Farm Kenya Show.
Thank you so much.
Hilary Obura is from Nick's Mat Farm, and they are located in Rironi in Limuru. And he says that these are crops that you can do if you learn of proper crop management, then you're able to actually get the maximum value from your crop. And that's very critical at this age and time. We take a short break. When we come back, we have Thai beef salad. It's going to be tight after the break. Remember, this is Farm Kenya. Stay tuned.